The year is 2025. The global trade landscape is fraught with tension. The United States and China, the world's two largest economies, are locked in a bitter battle for economic dominance. The seeds of this conflict were sown in 2018. The Trump administration, accusing China of unfair trade practices and intellectual property theft, imposed tariffs on billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods. China retaliated in kind, targeting American exports like soybeans and automobiles. Fast forward to 2025, the trade war has escalated dramatically. In April, the US dropped a bombshell, slapping a 34% tariff on a vast array of Chinese imports. China, refusing to back down, announced its own 34% tariffs on all US goods effective April 10th. This escalation sent shockwaves through the global economy. One thing was clear: the trade war was far from over. The trade war's impact is being felt most acutely in specific sectors. The automotive industry, a symbol of global manufacturing, finds itself caught in the crossfire. The US imposed a 25% tariff on Chinese vehicles and parts, dealing a blow to Chinese automakers hoping to gain a foothold in the American market. China's retaliatory tariffs on US-made cars have similarly hurt American auto giants, forcing them to reconsider their production and pricing strategies. Agriculture, a cornerstone of both the US and Chinese economies, is facing its own set of challenges. China, once a major importer of US soybeans, has turned to other suppliers like Brazil and Argentina. American farmers, already grappling with low commodity prices, are feeling the pinch. Consumer goods, from electronics to clothing, are also feeling the heat. The trade war has exposed the fragility of global supply chains, reminding us of the interconnected nature of the global economy. China, determined to defend its interests, has deployed a range of countermeasures in response to US tariffs. These measures go beyond simply matching tariffs tit for tat. China is playing a strategic game, leveraging its economic and geopolitical clout to push back against what it perceives as American bullying. One of China's most potent weapons is its control over rare earth elements. These elements are crucial for a wide range of technologies, from smartphones to electric vehicles to defense systems. China dominates the global production and supply of rare earths. In a strategic move, China has restricted the export of medium and heavy rare earth elements, sending a clear message to the US. China has also weaponized its export control regime. It has added 16 US entities to its export control list, subjecting them to stricter scrutiny and potential restrictions on the export of sensitive technologies and dual-use items. This move is aimed at hindering the development of key industries in the US, particularly those with military applications. Section 4. Global shockwaves. Markets and nations grapple with uncertainty. The US-China trade war is not just a bilateral dispute, it's a global crisis. The escalating tensions have sent shockwaves through the global economy, rattling markets, disrupting supply chains, and fueling geopolitical uncertainty. Stock markets around the world have reacted nervously to the trade war's twists and turns. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, a key indicator of US market sentiment, plunged in response to China's retaliatory tariffs. Other major indices from Tokyo to London have also felt the tremors. Investors, spooked by the escalating trade war, are pulling back from riskier assets, seeking refuge in safe havens like gold and government bonds. Beyond the markets, the trade war is casting a shadow over the global economic outlook. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, has warned that the tariffs could shave off a significant chunk of global GDP growth. The trade war is also testing alliances and reshaping geopolitical dynamics. Section 5. Economic projections. Deciphering the uncertain future. The economic fallout from the US-China trade war is difficult to predict with certainty. Economists and analysts are grappling with a complex web of interconnected factors, trying to assess the long-term impact on both countries and the global economy. For the US, the trade war poses both risks and opportunities. On the one hand, tariffs could lead to higher prices for consumers and businesses, dampening economic growth. On the other hand, the tariffs could incentivize companies to bring manufacturing back to the US, boosting domestic production and creating jobs. China, too, faces an uncertain economic future. The trade war has undoubtedly hurt Chinese exporters, particularly those in sectors targeted by US tariffs. However, China has shown resilience in the face of adversity. The trade war's impact on global supply chains is perhaps the most significant and far-reaching consequence. Section 6. The road ahead, navigating the labyrinth of trade tensions. The path forward in the US-China trade war is fraught with uncertainty. Both sides have dug in their heels, showing no signs of backing down. One possible scenario is a negotiated settlement. Both sides could agree to roll back tariffs, address intellectual property concerns, and establish a more balanced trade relationship. However, reaching such an agreement would require significant concessions from both sides, something that seems unlikely in the current climate of mistrust and animosity. Another possibility is a protracted trade war. Both sides could continue to escalate tariffs, impose new trade barriers, and engage in economic warfare. This scenario would have devastating consequences for the global economy. Section 7. Conclusion. A world on edge. The US-China trade war is a defining moment in the 21st century. It is a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of the global economy and the fragility of the rules-based trading system. The outcome of this conflict will have far-reaching consequences for businesses, investors, and policymakers around the world. As the trade war drags on, the world watches with bated breath, uncertain of what the future holds. The decisions made by the US and China in the coming months and years will shape the global economic and geopolitical landscape for decades to come.